I don't think people are really aware of what's happening. They're just saying, oh, it's another bill. Oh, it's another bill. They don't realize how this is going to not only affect us, but generations to come if we don't say something, if we don't stand up for what we believe in.
Right. And if I could just take a few moments to tell people what's going on and kind of the issue that we were there for. So right now in South Dakota, there is an out-of-state, privately owned, foreign-backed company that wants to come in the eastern side of the state and put a carbon capture pipeline to benefit the sustainable aviation fuel industry, the first billion-dollar company that wants to set roots at home in South Dakota. To push through. It's got massive federal tax dollars pushing behind it. And I'm not against pipelines. I'm not against adding value to ethanol. I'm not against building businesses in South Dakota. But this company has no public good, meaning average citizen, you and I are not going to be using sequestered carbon for any particular reason. It's not like electric and water, where a pipeline or a power line would be totally appropriate and the citizens of the community would say, yeah, bring it in. We need this. This is to enrich very few people on the backs of the people who call this place home. And the reason I got involved in this fight is 2 years ago, I got a call from an elderly widow. She has 10 acres of land. And the carbon pipeline companies show up at her door. By the way, they have armed security. I mean, they weren't friendly about it. And they threatened her. They basically said, if you don't sign this easement, we're going to put it through with using eminent domain and you will have no choice. And this company has gone so far as to slap condemnation papers on 160 plus landowners. They're suing individual counties for creating ordinances that would protect those counties from just being bulldozed by this out-of-state foreign-backed company. They're saying basically, we can do what we want according to the state law. And so this has all come to a head, and now the legislators are having to find some clear guidelines. The bills that have been pushed through so far, like 1185 and 1186, they're little crumbs for the landowners. Like, oh, we'll give them $500 for access. Well, if I say no, thank you to a private company, I don't want to do business with a private company, I should be able to say no. Absolutely. And that's the thing these legislators and lobbyists don't get. It's not about money for us. It's my home, my backyard, my land, my businesses. They are mine. And if I don't have private property rights and I can't make decisions locally, I'm not free. And 100%. So yesterday, a terrible bill was introduced by Senator Crabtree, and it's SB 201, and it sought to strip local control and governance away from the people. There's no two counties in South Dakota that are exactly the same. Terrains are different, needs are different, population densities are different. But the state is essentially saying, and Crabtree is essentially saying, we're going to grease the wheel for this one company. We're going to iron out and create a uniform standard at the state level so that they can skip the step of suing all the landowners in all the counties. We're going to make it so easy and cozy for them because companies like Gevo are threatening, well, if we don't get our way, we'll just move to another state. Well, guess what?
Right.
The rules of the game are already in place. We have private property rights. We have an ability to say no. And to try to circumvent all of that just to grease the wheel, it's crazy to me. And we'll get back to you in a second, but I just want to take this is going to air this week when it's really critical votes are coming up. So I want to take this opportunity to do that. But essentially, there's 4 other states in the country that have done this. They're all blue Democrat states. It's Michigan, it's Illinois, it's California, it's New York. Colorado right now, as we speak, is trying to grease the wheel for carbon, solar, and wind to come in on the backs of the landowners. And I'm saying, I don't think South Dakota wants to be a part of that list. I don't think our governor wants to be on that list of governors that are signing away the rights of the local citizens. Under God, the people rule here, right? In South Dakota. And so it's a huge conflict. It's a huge constitutional crisis. One way or another, this is going to end up in the courts. But I guess I'm asking everybody right now, if you're from South Dakota, to email your state senators and tell them they must stop SB 201. Now, on the flip side, there's a good bill that's been smoked out on the House. It's going to be debated, hopefully, if we get enough votes. And it's all happening this week in Peer. That bill was introduced by the good legislator, Representative John Hanson. It's HB 1219 that would provide a definition for carbon capture for permanent sequestration apart from things like water and electric. And it would also eliminate the use of eminent domain for private gain. And so that bill, we need a strong showing of support. And so my other call to action would be, if you are in South Dakota, email your House of Representatives today, like this moment, the second you are hearing of this, because timing is of the essence here. Email them today and tell them they must push forward HB 1219. Those two bills, if we promote the one, if we pass the one into law, 1219 will protect private property rights. And if we kill SB 201, we will protect local government control, because the best decisions are made right at home and in our local communities with the people who are invested in the future of those communities. So with that, I just got my little spiel.
I couldn't agree more. Yes. Yes.
It's a lot happening, and people are always surprised. I got a national audience. People are like, South Dakota? This is really a problem? I thought this wasn't a thing here. And I said, it might be being advertised as the freest state in the nation, but right now we have some serious, serious problems, and good people need to get involved. That's just, that's the fact of the matter.